country, they have not inadvertently, but they have very consciously brought in this aspect of solidifying the Brahminical system in this country. It is a very serious complaint I am making, but I want to attest substantiate those arguments. Friends, different shades and faves, say styles of nationalism can be talked about during that time. If you see the initial stages, the so-called, say, political elite, I would rather call them as Brahminical forces, they purely did not talk about an independent nation called India. For a long time, Congress party also did not demand for a separate nation. Even under Gandhi, they were asking for dominion status. If you remember, they were asking for dominion status for a long time. If you read the history of the Congress party. Before Mr. Gandhi came into the scene, you have people like Dadabhai Naoroji, you have people like Lala Lajpat Rai. During those times, they were not asking for a separate nation. Even they are not aspiring for freedom. They were talking about a kind of a nationalism which is called as economic nationalism. See, you can see the say writings of Dadabhai Naoroji. They were talking about some kind of beneficial trade arrangements for India under the colonial rule. And if I can quote Lala Lajpat Rai, I think so I'll quote. They were talking about a kind of a Swadeshi movement. Even salt satyagraha, also is a kind of an economic nationalist movement, ploy. Dadabhai Naoroji says, I quote, Swadeshi movement will teach us how to use our capital, our resources, our labor, our skills, so as to maximize the welfare of all Indians. Swadeshi shall become the common creed of united India. So friends, here I want to clearly make a point that during the times of Dadabhai Naoroji and then Lala Lajpat Rai, both of them basically come from mercantile background. They were talking about Swadeshi, and I am extending this to salt satyagraha. Salt. It was also an economic move. Of course, all other things and all. These people, essentially they are worried about the flow of capital from India to the colonizers. And they were trying to, in a sense, stabilize the economic capitalism, which was hitherto under their control. India, basically the whole capital was controlled by the Baniyas. The Baniya are the so-called Vaishyas of this country. So they were worried about this flow of raw material, they are worried about the mills, they are worried about this. So initially it was economic capitalism which they were proposing. And of course in Indian National Congress, basically people used to say that it has been funded and it has been supported by the so-called traditional capitalists of this country. And if you allow me, I would say that the Bajaj, the Birlas, all these people, they were roped in because of Gandhi was there. Gandhi was a Baniya from Gujarat, and people of Gujarat, they say that Gandhi is not just a Baniya. Among the Baniya, they say Mond Baniya. Mond Baniya belongs to that particular thing called as Mond Baniya. I would say that one thing. Gujaratis, because I work in Bamsun, we deal with Bamsun. They say one thing. शरीर में खून तो सही है मगर मोंड अच्छा नहीं. They say even if there is a big wound in your body, that is better, but mold baniya is not better. This is what not other people they say. Baniyas themselves they say. They say among the Baniyas, mold Baniyas are double crooks. So that means, like in a sense, I'm not trying to make Gandhi as a kind of a victim of it, but it is because of Mr. Gandhi, he has roped in two kinds of forces into this so-called Indian national movement, Congress party basically. He brought the capitalists, the so-called, he brought capital into say, the Congress party. At the same time, he linked the masses with the Congress party. These two things he has done it. And I want to remind you, my dear friends, today the business house called as, business grouping called as FICCI. You all know about FICSA, FICCI, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce. I want to tell you one important fact, that this FICCI has been started in 1927 under the aegis of Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi was also there in the inaugural function of FICCI. So, the economic nationalism, if you can call it, so it has started as a kind of a national movement, defending the resources, defending the trade, say, surplus. And they were saying that it is interest of all masses of this country. That's what Lajpat Rai says. He says, so as to maximize the welfare of all Indians, Swadeshi should become the common creed of united India. So they want to bring this kind of aspect, the economic aspect or economic national aspect, as a kind of a national movement. Then in 1920s, my dear friends, see the kind of nationalism which has been building up in India. This, I think so, we'll have to see it with a little kind of a clear eye, because the formulations during 1950 to 1925 or even 1930s, they have all been blurred. They are not very clearly shown. We have to see who are the people who are participating in that. If you look at Mr. Gandhi, Gandhi is seen as the quote-unquote father of the nation. But if we see his actions in South Africa, these people right from the beginning are not anti-colonial. That is my point is they are not anti-British. In 1887, right from 1884 to 87, Gandhi was in fact running a kind of a movement in South Africa, fighting for the rights of voting rights. Fighting for voting rights in South Africa, not for all Indians, because the majority of Indians over there are their labor, detention labor. He was not fighting for the voting rights of all Indians. He was fighting for the rights of those Indians who are of a educated or the moneyed class. He was asking for voting rights for the business class. During that time, Mr. Gandhi writes a letter to the legislators of the provinces of Natal and Durban. In South Africa, you can see province of Natal and Durban. In one letter, Gandhi actually writes saying that the British, unfortunately, are forgetting the fact that the upper caste in India and the British, they belong to the same racial stock called as Indo-Aryan. Quote unquote, this is Gandhi for you, my dear friends. Gandhi is writing that unfortunately the British are forgetting the fact that the upper caste of India, his intention is the Arya Brahman, Arya Vaishya, Arya Kshatriya, because in this letter, the letter is 7 pages in length. In that letter, Mr. Gandhi explains the British legislators there about the brilliance of the Arya Brahmins in the fields of philosophy, in the fields of logic, in the fields of medicine, in the fields of say all other astrology. He did not talk about astronomy, he talked about astrology. He's talking about other aspects. He's glorifying these people. Probably I can give you a copy of that particular letter. You can read yourselves. Probably you'll find, if you can access, you will refer to the complete works of Mahatma Gandhi in volume 1, around pages 317, you'll find this letter. It's a 7-page letter. In that, Gandhi is saying that the British are not realizing the fact that the so-called Arya Brahmins, Arya Kshatriya, Arya Vaishya, they all belong to the same race called as Indo-Aryan. I want to start this because that was the foundation upon these people have started. Not just Gandhi. We talk about Tilak. Tilak was talking about, he talks about Aryavarta. He says that this is their karma bhumi, their matru bhumi. He talks about the archaic home of the Vedas, and he says that we belong to the Europe, not here. We belong to Europe. As these people have colonized, we also have colonized. So they want to, they want to in fact, go along with the colonizers. That has been a fact. That is what we are saying today, which they have been denying today. Today, if you say that you are colonized, they say, no, we are not. But those times, 1920s, they are saying that we are also equally, don't look us down. See, they want to topple the equation that the British are the colonizers and the so-called Brahminical sections are the colonized. They want to align with the ruling. This alignment with the ruling has been always there with them. They are the ones who sided with the Muslim rulers of this country. In fact, who have been the officers in the Muslim rule, 600 years of Muslim rule. The same Brahmins, the same Kshatriyas, they were the ones. In fact, they were praising Akbar. Why? Because 48% of the officers in Akbar court or Akbar Darbar, they are Brahmins. And in fact, they were the ones who have been, in fact, even to the British also, these are the guys who are attaching with power. So this is the trait. They always align with the power. One. And as long as those people ruling them, they are protecting their interests, they will be there with them. So, we talked about Gandhi, we talked about Tilak. Now we talk about another person who is called as Rajaram Mohan Roy and Kesab Chandra Sen. These are the two important personalities who started Brahma Samaj. Brahma Samaj. That is also seen as a kind of a great nationalist force in this country. Brahma Samaj is seen as, these are people are seen as patriots. These people are seen as the great nationalists. Rajaram Mohan Roy went to England, came back. Same like Keshav Chandra Sen also went to England, came back. And in England, London, Keshav Chandra Sen was talking to a crowd, to a gathering, saying that the union of the colonization of India by the British is the reunion of parted cousins, the Indo-Aryans. These are the words, these are the very words I am just trying to read, put you before you. I can quote Keshav Chandra Sen going to England and saying that. Rajaram Mohan Roy is also saying the same thing, more or less the same thing. They are saying that the colonization of India is the reunion of the parted cousins called Indo-Aryans.
Sir, what is K not one MB 8227 Mandia Vandila Kedula? Yavadi Kare. K Vandi Kare, K not one MB 8227 Mandila Kedula.
So, this has been their foundation basically. So, my dear friends, when from 1915 to 1920s and 30s, this is the time they are formulating this kind of exercise. And this is the time, why? Because this is a very crucial time, not just for the Indians but also for all colonizers who were colonized by the British. Because in 1917, as I have been always talking about in the Canada camps, 1917, there was election in England. The two parties, the Tories and the Labour, they were contesting each other. And the Labour Party, they gave in their manifesto that, if we are elected to power, we will give adult franchise. We will give voting rights to everybody. So, in 1919 election, in fact, with that particular manifesto, the Labour Party won. And in 1919, they have given the adult franchise to every commoner of England. Because till that time, England has two houses. House of the Lords and the House of the Commons. House of the Lords, they are from the blue blood. They are from the royal blood. House of the Commons also used to be there. House of the Commons are the representatives of the common people. They are not elected, but they are nominated. So in 1919, after the Labour government won, the Labour government made a legislation saying that every citizen of England will have right adult franchise. So when that particular important political lesson